Sonic Movie 4 is officially less than 1 year away. Paramount Pictures just revealed the title treatment, and honestly, for a simple logo reveal, this actually tells us a lot. So today I'm gonna give my predictions on the movie and what it could be about, so let's get into it. First off, let's start with what happens in the title treatment. We start with Amy's hammer smashing into some sort of energy source, and we also get to see the characters appearing inside the Chaos Emeralds, almost like they're being reflected through the energy, which could mean the Emeralds will play a bigger role in movie 4. We even get to see Shadow in one of the Emeralds, which is really interesting because, as we know, at the end of Sonic Movie 3, Shadow is in the post-credit scene, so maybe Shadow could be helping Team Sonic and Amy take out Metal Sonic and Eggman. We also hear this line saying,
"You think your world is safe, but your time is about to run out. The chaos has only just begun."
And what's interesting is that this line could be directed to the world, but at the same time it feels like something Eggman would directly say to Sonic, because Sonic sees Earth as his home, so a line like that could be a threat to him. But at the same time it could also be a threat to Sonic's actual world, because we do see what looks to be Green Hill in the title treatment. We can see the loops, so this might not just be about Earth in danger, but also Sonic's original home as well, which could raise the stakes even more. I think Metal Sonic is going to be a huge part of this movie, and honestly he could end up being the main threat, because unlike other villains, Metal Sonic isn't just an enemy, he's like an exact copy of Sonic. He even claims to be the real Sonic, but without any emotion. He's faster, more precise, and he's built with the thought of defeating Sonic, which would make this a completely different fight. And who knows, maybe they'll reference the "Strange, isn't it?" line from the OVA, and if that's the case, this could make the movie way more intense, because instead of Sonic fighting someone different, he'll be fighting a version of, well, himself. And also, since Metal Sonic seems to be a huge focus in this movie, maybe we could get to see Neo Metal Sonic from Sonic Heroes, which could be sick, because Shadow Generations brought him back in game form, so maybe this movie could bring him back in movie form. I also think Amy is going to be a really important character in this movie. We already see her hammer in the title treatment, which is revealing her introduction. She's not just going to be a side character, she could actually play a huge role in the story. And what makes Amy interesting is that she brings a completely different energy compared to the others. While Team Sonic is more focused on fighting, Amy could add more emotion and balance to the team, kinda like what we saw in games like Sonic Frontiers. She could also be connected to the Chaos Emeralds in some way, especially with how they're being shown in the title treatment. So her introduction could actually be tied to something bigger going on, and if they do introduce Amy properly, this could completely change the dynamic of Team Sonic going forward. But there's also something really interesting when it comes to Amy's role. There's actually been a lot of talk about Amy having a similar role to Silver, especially if this movie ends up dealing with time travel, and honestly that would be a really interesting direction since Amy debuted in Sonic CD, a game that already has time travel as a core part of the story. But Amy and Metal Sonic aren't the only major parts of this movie, because we also have Shadow, and Shadow is really interesting because he shows up in the post-credit scene of Sonic Movie 3, which already sets him up for a bigger role going forward. But the big question is, what kind of role will he actually play, because Shadow isn't really a hero or a villain, he's more of an anti-hero, so he could start off just doing his own thing, not really caring about Team Sonic or anyone else. We already see him inside one of the Chaos Emeralds in the title treatment, which could mean he has a deeper connection to them, so he could possibly be one of the most powerful characters in the entire movie, especially since he can use the Chaos powers like Chaos Control, so instead of Shadow being a main villain, I think he could end up helping Team Sonic later on in the movie, especially if we do get to see Neo Metal Sonic like I said earlier. And honestly, if they handle Shadow like how they did in movie 3, this could have potential to be one of the best versions we've seen of Shadow, even better than he was portrayed in Sonic Prime. But there's another character who we haven't really talked about yet, and I honestly think he's behind everything, and that's Dr. Eggman, because no matter what happens in these movies, Eggman is always at the centre of everything. And if Metal Sonic is really going to be a major part of this movie, then there's a very good chance Eggman created him, because as we know, in Sonic Movie 3, Sonic gave Eggman one of his quills, and if that's the case, this could be one of Eggman's biggest plans yet. Creating something that can finally match Sonic in every way, because every time Eggman goes up against Sonic, he's always a step back, so creating Metal Sonic could completely change that. And with the Chaos Emeralds playing a bigger role as well, Eggman could try to take control of that power again, but this time on a bigger scale. We also hear that line in the title treatment saying,
"You think your world is safe, but your time is about to run out. The chaos has only just begun."
And that line sounds like something aimed at Sonic, or even the whole world, so instead of just being a returning villain, Eggman could actually set up something bigger. But there's one more character that we haven't talked about yet, and honestly, he could end up having one of the biggest moments in the movie, and that's of course Tails. If you look at his journey so far, Tails has been building up to something. In Sonic Movie 2, he's introduced as Sonic's partner, letting him know about important things like Knuckles, the Owl Temple, and the Master Emerald, and since then he's been helping the team, even jumping into space to save Sonic in Movie 3. But he hasn't really had his own defining moment yet, and I think Sonic Movie 4 could finally be that moment for him. This could be where Tails finally steps up and proves he's just as important as Sonic and Knuckles, not just as support, but as a hero in his own right. Especially with someone like Metal Sonic being the threat where strength alone isn't enough. Metal Sonic is built to match Sonic in every way, so beating him might not just come down to power, it could also come down to intelligence, and that's where Tails could make the difference. He could be the one who figures out how Metal Sonic works, or the one who figures out how to stop him, or even figure out how the Chaos Emeralds are connected to everything. And he could also be the one to save Sonic at some point in the movie, and if that happened, that wouldn't just be a big moment, it could completely change people's view of his character. But when we actually think about it, this could be way bigger than we think. Metal Sonic, Shadow, Amy, Tails, and the Chaos Emeralds all play in a role. It doesn't feel like another Sonic movie, it feels like something way bigger. Especially with the ideas of time travel and multiple worlds being hinted at. This could end up being not just one of the most ambitious Sonic stories, but also one of the most ambitious Sonic movies we've seen so far. And to be honest, I don't think Sonic will have an easy time in this movie. This could possibly be the first time we see him really struggle, especially if he's going up against a threat like Metal Sonic. But those are all my predictions for Sonic Movie 4. Now I pass it to you. Let me know what your predictions are for the movie in the comments below. I've got a video planned on analysing movie Sonic's character coming soon, so stay tuned for that. But anyways, a like and subscribe would be very appreciated, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.